Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with the winnersandwhiners.com. It's Saturday, everybody, and it is time for part one of the Saturday edition of Today in Sports Betting. Let's bring him on. No hoopla. No, we're just gonna talk to him. It's Scott Reichel. Scotty, what's up?
Doing pretty well. Kind of upset you couldn't come up with a synonym for hoopla, but other things to worry about. But yeah, we're switching the show into two sections now. We got it divided by each individual sport, so this should be pretty entertaining.
So for all of you looking for NBA scores or NBA predictions, you don't have to sit through all the baseball stuff, and vice versa. For all you looking for baseball stuff, you don't have to sit through all the basketball stuff. We are here for you, and that's what we're going to do. So this is going to be part one of Today in Sports Betting as we take a quick look at the NBA for today. Quick recap yesterday, the NBA, Scott. I did okay, 3-3, lost the juice. How'd you end up doing, you know?
Doing decently. I know that I lost the Celtics money line, even though they were tied with about a minute and a half to go, so that was a pretty good deal. And I'm not going to complain because I had the Rockets money line, and we disagreed about that game. And at no point were you close to winning, especially being up 16 points in the middle of the third quarter.
You said, was I close to winning?
I was joking because you took you were on the Mavericks and I was on the Rockets, and the Mavericks scored 85 at the half and they still couldn't win.
Yeah, they had 119 after three quarters. Fun little fact about that game, Scott. They were 7 points ahead with 1 minute left. The teams of this season in the NBA are 2-7-11 when trailing by 7 or more in the final minute of regulation. So,
well, that sounds like the Mavericks had a pretty good chance to win. But if I really wanted to break down what I've noticed so far in the NBA, first of all, hilarious day. After a couple unders, people were just pounding the unders, assuming that the bubble restart, all the teams would come out slow. Not quite. Pretty sure every game went over yesterday. So if you were an under better, you probably didn't have a good time. Some really awful coaching in primetime games is one of the other takeaways that I had. Just simply put, I thought Carlisle, I like him as a head coach. He was terrible yesterday. I don't understand how Porzingis is 7 feet tall. He's being guarded by P.J. Tucker. Put him in the paint. Maybe put Boban in or something. Maybe get yourself some rebounding or some free points at the hoop. Instead, they're just letting Porzingis chuck it from 35. And I'm thinking maybe you'd want his rebounding ability against P.J. Tucker. Maybe. Right? That was my takeaway from the game. I feel like they just were going 5 out against a short Rockets team. Maybe it was set up 7 with a minute to go. You should probably be going for some rebounds and free throws.
Yeah, since the Rockets don't actually have a center. That's
correct. So
solid strategy. So.
Yeah, Porzingis is just standing by the 3-point line. I'm open. I'm like, no, you should probably, move to the inside once in a while. But
we're not asking you to back him down. Just play within 5 feet of the rim. Good God.
Yep, that was kind of my takeaway.
All right. Well, let's rock and roll for today. We're going to start with one, Scott, that they're not going to be able to, people are going to hear this, and by the time they hear it, the game's going to be over, most likely. But we're going to go ahead and just for continuity's sake, we're going to talk about it. Let's talk about the Miami-Denver game. You know what? I'm on this Denver team. I think they're with Jokic and everything. I think this is going to be a solid squad going forward. I'm going to take Denver minus the points. What do you got?
I'm actually going to disagree with you. I'm going to take Miami here in the spot. I don't know if it's really going to make a difference playing in Florida. I just know that Denver tends to play significantly worse when they're not actually playing at home in the altitude. So I'm kind of curious to see how this team will perform in a neutral site game. The thing about Denver is that people have been distracted by the Jokic-Bol combo, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know if Bol's starting. According to projected lineups, he's not going to be starting. I expect him to come off the bench to provide a little bit of a spark. I'm still not sure if Jamal Murray's fully healthy. He might not play. So if he does not, you might want to wait for some injury reports because Murray's a pretty good point guard. So you'd kind of want him in the lineup if you are going to be taking Denver. I just think Miami is the deeper team. I know Denver is a pretty good team, but Gary Harris is going to be out. Will Barton's going to be out. They're losing a couple of key wings in terms of depth. And Miami just has so many guys that they could just throw at you. And Adebayo is also one of the best defensive players in the league. Can he stop Jokic? I don't know about that, but I think he could limit Jokic to some degree. I like Miami. I think Miami is a very solid team, and I think people are sleeping on them.
All right, very good. We're going to move on. Utah versus OKC minus 1.5, 217 is now the number. Scott, I'm going to fade the big move here on the total. This total started at 212. rocketed up to 217. I'm gonna counter on that. I'm gonna go play the under 217 on that. This is just a completely math move of fading the public money.
Yeah, so I'm not going to touch the total because of that said line movement. And after the Rangers-Giants debacle, I'm not going to go against the line movement. But for this game, there was a favorite switching. Utah opened up as a 1-point favorite. Oklahoma City is now the 2-point favorite, give or take. 1 in some spots, 2.5 in some other spots. So shop around. I'll take Oklahoma City. People may make the argument that Utah should be more comfortable because they already played a game in the bubble. I don't think that really matters. I just think the Pelicans completely choked away a free win. And I think Oklahoma City is better defensively by a wide margin, especially with Roberson back now. I think that they're going to be a really solid defensive team. And I think Chris Paul's going to lead Oklahoma City to another victory. So for me, I'm going to lean to the Thunder.
Okay, well, maybe we'll both get it done there. Moving on to the Pelicans versus the Clippers. Clippers 5-point favorites, 226. Here's your total there. Scott, Pelicans have a problem. They can't finish. They're a young team. They just cannot get it done in the fourth quarter. Especially against the good teams. I'm going to take the Clippers here to pull away in the end. Give me the Clips -5.
I agree with you. I'm taking the Clippers. I'm just thinking of the hilariously bad shot selection Brandon Ingram's going to have when being guarded by Kawhi Leonard in this game. And it's kind of making me laugh.
All right, Scott, moving on. Taking a look at the 76ers and the Indiana Pacers. Pacers are +6. 218.5 is your number. This is another number that's been skyrocketing. And Scott, you've got some interest there.
I do. I gave out a play of the day video last night, and I got the number at 215.5. So far, so good. And hopefully the over money isn't going to burn me.
Okay. So you're going to jump on the public there and take the over. You got it at 215.
I got it at 215.5. Now it's at 219.5. So
I've still got 218.5 on.
It's still. I've seen a lot of line movements offshore. It's starting to move from 218 to 219. So if you
still what would you advise for our bettors that are wanting to make a move at this number? Or is all the value gone of the over?
I don't know about all the value because it seems like all the odds makers were so off on all the games yesterday in terms of totals. I mean, the Houston game, even though it went to overtime, went over by about 70 points, which is ridiculous. So I don't think the odds makers are fully in touch with what the over-unders should be right now. I'd personally put the cutoff at 220. I think 220 is the number that you should try to avoid. But the main reason why you have over money, Ben Simmons is playing the power forward. So they took Horford out, and now they got Milton in. So they got better shooting and a lot more fast break opportunities with a smaller lineup. And Indiana's missing Sabonis, so they're probably going to be going small as well. I'm looking for T.J. Warren or even Doug McBuckets to play the power forward. And I think that will lead to a more of a track meet feel in this game.
Scott, I think this spread is too big. Oladipo's coming back on Saturday or coming back today.
Well, I don't know if Brogdon's playing. So if you want to take Indiana, I'd wait to hear news about Brogdon because he's currently a game time decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna take him as playing because I have to make that call now.
I got a daily fantasy lineup and I need Brogdon to play, so we'll see what happens there.
I'm taking the Pacers +6.
I felt the same way when I made the video. The thing about Philly is that even though they are now 6-point favorites, this was one of the worst road teams in the league. And I know this isn't a road game, but I know that this is a neutral.
But it ain't a home game.
It's not a home game, yeah. So I can't really trust the 76ers to just win by a large margin when this team couldn't beat anybody on the road all season long.
Completely agree.
So, yeah, I have no interest on the side, but for the total, I play the over.
All right. And last game on the card is the Lakers and the Toronto Raptors. Raptors 4-point dogs and 214.5 is the total here. Scott, I think the Lakers are head and shoulders above everybody else in this league, except for the possible exception of the Clippers. But that definitely includes the Raptors. Should have covered against the Clippers. I think they're going to cover against the Raptors. Give me the Lakers -4.
Well, the line actually has gone down from -4. It's gone from -4 to roughly -2.5.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I got it.
Which is a bit surprising because of the fact that the Lakers were able to beat the Clippers. Toronto's playing the first game in the bubble. You're kind of wondering why money has come in on Toronto, especially with LeBron and Anthony Davis both being probable for this game. I love Toronto's coaching staff. I think Nick Nurse is one of the best coaches in the entire league. I love Siakam. I love Lowry. I think they have a very solid team. In reality, they have nobody who can guard LeBron and Anthony Davis, and I think the Lakers will win this game by at least 5 points.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There you go. So we are in agreement there. Very good. That's what they call getting right through it as far as the NBA goes. Any final thoughts on the NBA before we cut it?
I'm hoping that we get a couple more overtime games. All the games yesterday were kind of crazy, with the exception of the Nets-Wizards game. I think every game was within at least like 1 point within the last handful of minutes. So hopefully these games remain to be competitive.
Some big comebacks, a lot of competitive games, so it should be fun. It's a full day of NBA, so we'll be excited to watch that. So that's it for the NBA portion of the show. Hang around and click on the next video if you guys want to get our MLB picks for the day. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Everybody have a great day. Stay healthy. And, let's go watch some basketball, everybody. We'll take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.